now, you know, he's not really sure if he can get in there and land the type of punches that he wants. Right there, you see a slow jab coming back. He got countered. So right now, he's in fear of opening up, in fear of the counter punch, the same punch that hurt him in round 1. But he has to let that go and fight.
Under a minute left to go here in round 4, and let's make one thing clear. Guillermo Rigondeaux is not running around this ring. He's standing right in front of Rico Ramos. He's not punching that much, but he's the one punching.
And he did start the fight that way.
Yes, he did.
He's been doing it steadily, to his credit. And, you know, I'm only half kidding when I say this. Maybe Rico Ramos' strategy right now should be step on Rigondeaux's right foot before he throws the right hand. That'll keep him in place.
Yeah, yes, it will. Well, Louis DeCubas, the very well-known fight figure who's the manager of Rigondeaux, told us he thought Rigondeaux was going to hit him with one punch and end this fight. Well, he almost did that in the first round. It looks like he's looking for that. But round passes into the night, and the fans not excited about that round. Well, Strikeforce is back March 3rd with a full night of MMA action. This one is headlined by a woman's 135-pound title match. Champion Miesha Tate, and she's exciting to watch, taking on the outspoken, and that's an understatement, Olympic judo medalist Ronda Rousey. Rousey started the war on Twitter, and they'll finish the war in the cage. The preliminary bouts also can be seen on Show Extreme beginning at 8, a great new innovation here on Showtime for both MMA and boxing.
When you're working with your left hand, you must keep your right hand up, all right? Okay, he's hurt already, all right? You cut it, he's already cut, you understand? You got him cut already. You already busted his mouth, all right? So keep busy.
We're headed into round number 5.
All right, let's go.
And Guillermo Rigondeaux in the white and purple trunks, former Cuban amateur star, defected from that country, had to do it twice, arrested the first time. So he's had a very intriguing and difficult journey to get his freedom to fight, taking on Rico Ramos in the red trunks, who is defending his title for the very first time. Ramos was down in round number 1, and since then it's been a tactical affair, but with Rigondeaux doing most of the punching.
Well, a busy junior featherweight or a super bantamweight would throw 77 punches in one round. That's Ramos' total for 4 rounds. And Rigondeaux, not that much busier, only 101 punches thrown.
In fact, the average, according to show stats, is 59 punches around for fighters in this weight division. So both these men well below that figure. Again, the left hand by Rigondeaux.
This fight is starting to look very much like a fight I called in New York. Rigondeaux's 4th pro fight when he fought Lanty Addy. He knocked Addy down in the first round. Addy gave up fighting because he couldn't compete, and Rigondeaux just controlled the pace, nice slow pace, didn't throw many punches, won every round. It's starting to look like that here.
Yeah, Ramos very, very inactive, halfway through round number 5. And Rigondeaux doing enough to win these rounds. There's a nice jab from Rigondeaux, one of his better jabs. And again, he uses his pawing motion. I agree with you, Steve. Right there, that's where Ramos puts himself in position to throw the left hook and just doesn't throw the punch.
It looks like he'll throw 1-2 punches and he'll grab, you know, instead of being in position to throw more combinations or give a guy angle. It looks like he's in hot water and he's putting his foot in there to see just how hot. He's not going to jump in this water anytime soon.
And there he stepped on the toe of Rigondeaux, a strategy suggested by fine trainer Steve Farhood. Well, this is a 194-day layoff. Good jab by Rico Ramos there. 194-day layoff for Ramos, the longest of his career. Perhaps that also is having something to do with this. Although we pointed out when he fought Shimoda, the title, this is the same kind of start he had.
You see Rigondeaux, very wide stance, and his footwork is magnificent. And what I mean by that is just watch when Rico Ramos approaches, how Rigondeaux has that escape route planned already to step to his left, or in that case his right. He can go either way. Beautiful footwork. The use of your feet is, to me, the most underrated part of defense. Just stepping out of range.
Seconds remaining here in round number 5, and Guillermo Rigondeaux has again controlled another round. due largely to Rico Ramos's inactivity. There's some body work by Rigondeaux to punctuate that.
He's slowing down. Don't launch with that fight, right? Okay, take that step over to the right. Okay, keep your foot on the outside. Take that step over to the right. Got me? Yeah. Okay. Take a deep breath. He's slowing down. He's slowing down. He's slowing down. All right. Yeah. Be careful. You gotta let them hands go.
Oye, hame maniobra, Rigo, con los pies. Hame una maniobra con los pies para poderlo golpear.
I want you to fade in with your footwork, you understand? I need you to start changing your fighting style, all right? Don't stay still too much, okay? Keep moving around. Keep moving around, okay? Don't stay still in one place, all right? Clean your gloves, Rigo. Clean your gloves, Rigo.
We head into round number 6, and the words of Ismail Salas might not be what every boxing fan wants to hear. You want to start moving around now, which kind of sounds like going into the four-corner offense after you won the first 5 rounds. We'll see if that happens.
Al, I'm going to take my headset off and go over and speak to Salas about that. Do you mind?
Well, we've already acknowledged that you're a terrific trainer with your advice, and, you know.
Well, it's Rigondeaux right now is in an interesting place. With 5 rounds complete, he's clearly ahead.
Yes.
He scored the knockdown. But here comes part 2 of the equation with him. Does he want to make himself more marketable? Does he want to make himself more exciting? Or does he want to hear the scattering of boos we've heard over the last couple of rounds?
It's a great point, and it's a lot of what this fight is about.
Yeah, I mean, with Rico Ramos, we understand why he's a little bit gun-shy. We just don't understand why Rigondeaux is gun-shy, because he's the one put forth the power punch, got the knockdown. Really, there's been no resistance for him going forward and making this an action fight.
That's a very good point. You can make the case more for Rico Ramos being tentative at 24 and in his first title defense, but not for Rigondeaux. And a lot is at stake. You know, when he fought Ricardo Cordoba, he was roundly criticized, and maybe some thought more so. Now, there's apparently a low blow. Let's see if Joker, or no, it's, well,
Joe seemed to indicate rabbit punch.
Yeah. And the left eye of Ramos is, got a problem, and now here comes Rigondeaux. And there goes Rico Ramos from a left to the body. And that one was very legal.
6, 7, 8, 9.
It is over. Guillermo Rigondeaux, with a body shot, ends this fight and ends the 1-fight reign of Rico Ramos in the 122-pound division. And that is a happy Team Rigondeaux as they see their man in his 9th professional fight win a world title.
That's impressive. It's
yeah.
You know, but to the credit of Rigondeaux, he did what he had to do. But I just feel like when I look at Rico Ramos and his ability to do what he needed to do tonight, it was just a young fighter, way in over his head, became champion too soon. And where you go when you're champion, you have to fight the top-notch competitors. There's nowhere to go but up.
And Rigondeaux was a mandatory challenger, which is the key. But we like that. We want to see people fight real people in boxing. You know, you went through a reign in the light heavyweights where, you know, you fought Roy Jones Jr. and Glenn Johnson forever for 6 years, 3-4 years, and those were all great fights. Well, for Rico Ramos, this young 24-year-old, the disappointment is apparent, and they could not get it done against a 31-year-old who is obviously has all the skills in the world. And what we have to say, too, is he did end up winning by stoppage. So there was power for Rigondeaux in this fight.
And like I said before, I didn't understand why he was gun-shy. You know, this guy has all the ability. He needs to start putting it forth and working on that and letting the world see what he's definitely made of.
Well, he might have heard you on that one. Now, the action just before the fight ended. Now, there is a kind of a pulling motion, and there was a good left uppercut that landed. Now, this really bothered Rico Ramos. I guess maybe the pulling of the head down or something, and it made him tentative. And then Rigondeaux went after him.
Well, he was tentative the whole fight.
Yes, that's
true.
true.
That really didn't have anything to do with it. But in the future, Rigondeaux could possibly get disqualified or even a point taken away because that looked to me to be obvious that he pulled his head and hit him while he was holding.
Yeah, that was holding and hitting. There's no question about that. There's the body work by Rigondeaux, and boy, those were good body shots, and he can throw good body shots. This is his second fight in a row in which Rigondeaux, first against Willie Casey, and now in this fight, after the tentative performance against Cordoba, where he has won by stoppage and where he's won with his power.
And again, that's a 7-punch combination with the left hand only.
You said it. You don't see that very often, almost never. But this man has a very good left hand. Does not use the jab much, but
it's
he can land
educated.
that.
It's educated.
Now let's bring Chuck Giampa in to weigh in on the question of holding and hitting. Chuck, what did you see there?
Well, I thought that Rigondeaux did enough to control the rounds. He didn't go all out, but when he had him hurt, he knew how to finish him off.
And what about this holding and the hitting with the uppercut? What do you think of that? And Joe Cortez did give him a warning about holding behind the head.
He gave him a warning, but to me it wasn't that obvious where it necessitated a point deduction.
Right, and it was the first time he'd actually done that move.
Right.
So. All right, well, in any case, Guillermo Rigondeaux wins the title in his 9th pro fight, and Barry Egan is in the center of the ring. Barry? We're going to get to Barry in just a moment, and we're going to get the announcement in just a moment on this match. And there you see these two men with some sportsmanship. And for Reggie Jackson, you see him there in his first outing with Rico Ramos. Didn't turn out the way he would have liked it. But for Ismael Salas, first-time trainer of this man. And there was a guy in the ring there, Ramon Garbe, a great Cuban amateur. Antonio Tarver only lost about 6 or 7 fights, and some of those weren't losses. Ramon Garbe was one that beat you, and he's the only one that did it legitimately, I think.
Yeah. I mean, he was a great amateur fighter as well. Never did make the transition to a great pro, but nonetheless, a great amateur.
He really was. Well, let's send things up to Barry Egan and get the announcement.
The time, 1 minute and 29 seconds of round number 6 for the winner by knockout and new WBA Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, Guillermo El Chico Rigondeaux.
And so it is a big win for Guillermo Rigondeaux as he gets his win and gets his title in only his 9th professional fight. Tremendous effort by him. And we take a look at some of the numbers, Antonio, and as we look at these, we see that Ramos throwing so few punches and not landing very many. It wasn't that Rigondeaux was tremendously active, but many of those punches he landed, of course, were great power punches.
Yeah, great power punch with the left hand, but you look at this, the graphic on the 9% of jabs, 5 jabs that landed the whole fight. He needs to pick up that jab, make that jab his offense as well as the defense, because when he step up in competition against guys like Danilo Donaire, he's going to need that jab.
All right, so great effort by Guillermo Rigondeaux, and our Steve Farhood is with him now.
Thank you very much, Al. Louis de Cubas will translate. Whoops, getting a little crazy. A lot of happy people. Guillermo just won the world title in his 9th fight. That is very unusual, even for someone with his tremendous amateur background. Did he surprise himself at all by doing that?
Dice, ganando la pelea, el título mundial con 9 peleas fue una cosa bien grande. Si eso te sorprendió a ti.
No, bueno, lo que me sorprendió fue que en el 2011 me cerraron un poquito la puerta, pero bueno, en este 2012 yo la abrí y bueno, voy a seguir haciendo todo lo que tengo que hacer. Bueno, con el promotor mío va a ver y junto con Luis de Cuba y Caribe en Promoción esperamos que muevan las cartas rápido, que me pongan con Donaire, que menciona a todo el mundo, pero a mí no mencionan en esa lista. El campeón ahora soy yo, él no es campeón en 122, el campeón soy yo.
Says they closed the doors in 2011. A lot of guys, you know, they wanted to give an opportunity, but now 2012, you know, it's going to be his time. You know, he's got the greatest promoter of all time, Bob Arum with Top Rank. Boris Arcevia from Caribe Promotion. You know, he just wants them to open up the doors for him now in 2012.